Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. So listen you guys, we're going to talk about fake GOBELA, but just the one episode where Latoya Makhene was a part of the episode. Okay, I don't normally review the show because I don't know how you can review it. It will be difficult for me to review it. But I want to talk about this story because Latoya Makhene was on the episode. No, she wasn't presenting the episode. I know she's a very good TV presenter, but she wasn't presenting the show. She was being accused of being a fake Sangoma. Was this a shock to me when I saw this episode? Absolutely not, because I had already done a story on my main channel where the wife or the ex-wife was claiming that Latoya is a fake Sangoma. And then I did another story where a group of Amatwasa were claiming that they were abandoned by Latoya when she broke up with her wife. And they were saying that Amadlozi Abo are left there by the house where Latoya and Lebo used to stay. So nobody's going to assist them to move Amadlozi from that house to the new GOBELA or from that house to their own homes. So was I shocked here? No, you guys. Now, I feel like though that if the purpose of this episode was to prove that Latoya is a fake Sangoma, they did not do a good job here. Okay, and don't misunderstand me, because I am not saying that Latoya is not a fake Sangoma, but what I'm saying is that with this episode they were not able to prove it. She might be a fake Sangoma, but this was not a good case for them to take in order to prove that she is a fake Sangoma. I had some issues with the exchange between the Itwasa and also GOBELA, where it left me with some questions, okay? That, is she really a fake Sangoma, or is it just a thing that is going on behind the scenes where this ex-wife is really pushing for Lamatwasa Lawa to come out and say that Latoya is a fake Sangoma, okay? Now, you guys, here's the thing. Because there is a group of Amatwasa that have the same story of having been moved from Latoya's Indumba because of what was happening with her and her ex-wife, I think all of them should have come together and did this episode. Or they should have chosen a better case, at least somebody that was there longer. I don't understand. You stayed there for 2 weeks, okay? And also, I feel like they should have done it with somebody that had stayed there longer, somebody that had paid their fees in full. Because if you give somebody a discount, and such a big discount on whatever services that you're offering them, and if the service that you've offered them does not satisfy them, you can always go back to, remember, you didn't even pay the full price. So this wasn't a good case to take. Also, Latoya is claiming that this guy was sent by Ulebo, and you guys, the guy didn't deny it. Okay, so I'm like, actually this episode didn't do what it was supposed to do. Okay, now listen to this one. This says that he was getting sick, you guys. And nowadays we can't just get sick. I was admitted in the hospital like 2 times in the past month. Okay, so even me, I can just decide that because I've been sick twice and admitted in the hospital twice, and they couldn't find out what was wrong. Okay, now I just need to trust that. That's what we do. Okay, we are not supposed to get sick. We are not supposed to get sick. When we get sick nowadays, it's because we need to go and trust. Okay, so I could have done the same thing. So he says that he was sick. And he was told by somebody that possibly it's because unabadabadala. He goes to Randfontein in town and he meets Latoya. He himself, okay? It's not like Latoya was walking around and he was like, you know what? I'm feeling something here. I feel like unabadala and I feel like you should come and trust her. No, Latoya was minding her own business. He approaches Latoya and says, listen, these are the issues that I'm having. I have been told that I have Abantabadala. Can you help me? Okay. And also they're saying he was very desperate and he was saying the situation is at home is very, very bad. I need to do this. Okay. And then Latoya agrees, listen, if you can come up with 3,500 rand, I will do that for you. Okay, but the way that this 3,500 rands was paid, because there's a 1,300 rands that was paid, and then there's another 1,500 rands that was paid. So I'm not even sure that he paid the full 3,500 rand, but it was a discounted price because he had said himself that it's a desperate situation at home. He really needs to do this, but he cannot afford to do it. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, now Latoya decides that he's going to accommodate him. Okay, they make some agreements where the money is transferred to Latoya, and then the guy comes now as Zotwaza. Now there's a thing that Latoya says about him coming with his wife and his mother to Twasa, which I was, how did that happen? Does that mean that Beben Pelezela and then dropped him off and they went, or Nabo they stayed at Latoya's house? Okay, listen, you guys, I don't know what the arrangements are when it comes to Amatwasa, the food, the accommodation, the electricity, the water, all of that. I don't know what the arrangements are when abantu are twisting at your indumba, because I'm thinking I'm not taking somebody to come and live in my house for 3,500 rand, even if it's for a month, because that is not enough. Okay, so depending on whether there are other things that they had to pay for an example, the electricity, the water, then in this situation, I'm not able to really say, you guys, but I feel like staying at somebody's house is not as cheap as 3,500 rand. So I'm thinking that actually if they are the ones that provide the food, provide the accommodation, water and electricity, all of that. Okay, so I don't know what the arrangements were, but I'm just thinking that if you're going to stay at somebody's house and they're like, no, it's okay, just pay 3,500 rand, that's not very expensive. Okay, what did he eat? Where did he sleep? What did he bath with? So that's the thing that left me with questions, you guys. Okay, so now the money was deposited into the account, and then they went to get so when they are there, obviously so you have to do some chores around the person's home. Listen, he says that they were just cleaning her house and all of that. They were like special maids in the house, the maids that actually paid to become maids. Okay, I just don't understand the whole situation, you guys. It's hard for me to feel sorry for this guy. Okay, there are enough problems in life that I would just decide right now that I'm going to go stay at somebody's house and they are going to make me clean their house and whatever and cook for them and all of that in order for me to solve my problems. Okay, for me that does not make sense. If I have problems, okay, the solution is not to go to somebody's house to cook and whatever for them so that I can be saved and also pay them. For me it just doesn't make sense. But again, people like to be scammed, and now when they are scammed, they come back and I didn't think that they were going to scam me, but they have scammed. I'm like, what were you thinking? Okay, so while they are there, while he is still waiting to see ukuthi ukuthwasa kuhamba kanjani, he says that he was there for the month of December and he thought things were a little bit slow. So maybe when the year begins, everything will pick up. Okay, but it doesn't pick up. Instead, they are witnessing all of the drama between Latoya and her wife Ulebu, and there was a lot of drama and there was a lot of like alcohol involved. They would be drinking alcohol until the whole night, until the next morning, and he's sitting there thinking, exactly what did I pay for here? Okay, now you guys, when things got intense between Latoya and her wife, she decides that, you know what, it's time for her to walk away from this relationship, but she makes sure that she makes some arrangements to move Amatwasa Ake to her Gobela, Latoya's Gobela. Okay, now you guys, she could have left them there, but she didn't. Okay, she made some arrangements to move them because now she had to escape all of the being that was taking place in their relationship in this home. Okay, so she drops them off at Springs where her Gobela is, and then she goes and finds, I guess, a place where she can, take a break from her wife. Okay, some of Amatwasa, they do stay with that Gobela. In fact, she does say that one Twasa even graduated from that Gobela. But this particular guy, who had only been there for 2 weeks, by the way, you guys, he was only there for 2 weeks. who had only been there for 2 weeks, he decides that, you know what, I have problems at home. My wife is being evicted from where she's living. So can you release me so that I can just go and take care of that? That's what Latoya does. She releases him, and he goes now to sort out whatever it is that they need to sort out. There are also phone calls that had taken place between him and Latoya, because Latoya, when she actually saw him come with the GOBELA crew, she was like, listen, because we did speak, okay? So they had some conversations, okay? Now, when they get there, you guys, I just want to ask a question. Is that Latoya's house? I was like, is that Latoya's house? Anyway, you guys, it could be maybe that's where she is hiding from all of the drama that is taking place in her life. Okay, listen, you guys, long time ago, and a lot of you are not even going to remember this. Before we even were watching reality shows, like we are watching reality shows, the Makhene family used to have a reality show. Before we knew it was a reality show, it was like a reality show, but also like structured in a way that is like a documentary. Because remember, Latoya Makhene's father is a big musician. He was a bigger back in the day, okay? But some of you are not going to remember because you guys are too young, okay? There was a Papa and Blondie they were brothers, ne? Papa and Blondie, yes, okay? And one of them passed away, but they were a group. Oh, Papa, Blondie, that's where the game comes from, okay? But some of you were singing it, not knowing where it comes from. So basically, they had been popular from back then, and Latoya and her siblings basically grew up on TV. They were like child stars in a way, okay? Now, the documentary then, or the reality show then, they had this really big house. I think that it had a pool, and all. It really was like the Kardashians kind of stuff, okay? So even now, when I was watching the show, I was like, if I see Latoya's house, I'm going to see a really like house, but we didn't see that. But what I'm saying, you guys, is that before there was our Real Housewives of Durban, before there was the girls trip, before there was the Bala family, there was a Makhene family show, okay? And even back then, you guys, you know how now they claim that the youngest of all of the siblings is on substances. Even back then, there was a thing that they were dealing with. They would go and look for her and find her, and then she would go back. There was a reality show called that. You can't even find it on YouTube. I was trying to find it, but I couldn't because it was so long ago. Okay, so I was like, is this her house? Is she at her father's house? But I was like, you know what I mean, okay? Anyway, you guys, now Latoya gets to tell her side of the story when they get there. She said, listen, you were only here 2 weeks, okay? As it was. And also your fees were reduced to that 3,500 rand because you were the one that was telling me how desperate you were to do this whole thing. And I did not abandon you because I took you to Springs and you opted to go back home. Okay. Now, what was I supposed to do? Okay. Then Latoya goes into this thing where she says, uyamhlahlulela. Okay. Sithi ngesiZulu uyabhula. Okay, useyabhula ke manje. She's like, you know what? You didn't come here at your own will. You must have met with Ulebu, and Ulebu gave you money to do the show. Now, I'm sitting there waiting for this guy to be like, Ulebu gave me money. That is not true. When she says that, the guy is shocked and goes quiet. Every time that they mentioned Lebu in this episode, the guy just kept quiet. And I was like, I'll be damned. Okay, because this guy was possibly paid by Label to do this whole thing. Because how are you not denying the fact that you were paid by Label to do this episode? Okay, so now this is what I'm saying. That listen, you guys, Latoya might be a fake sangoma, but this was not the episode to prove that to us because it didn't. The fact that this guy couldn't deny the fact that Label sent him to do the show and that Label paid him to do the show, for me tells me that this guy is actually paid to do the show. And also, out of all of the other Matwasa that had stayed longer with Latoya, he's the one that stayed the shortest period, but he was the one that decided to do the show. Something was off here. Okay, something was off here. Of course, something is off with Latoya being a Sangoma, since they are even claiming that she never even completed her own initiation. Okay, so we don't know if that story is true, but I'm saying this guy right here was not the person to prove that to us, because he did not prove it. He was not able to deny a simple thing, which is that Lebo sent him to do this episode, and also Lebo paid him to do this episode. Had he done that, then I would have been like, yeah, definitely, they have proven to us that Latoya is a fake Sangoma. There was another mother there that was trying to help Latoya because it was getting too much, you guys. She was shaking and everything, okay? It was very uncomfortable to watch. I'm like, yo, I got the one to me, my okay. Here's the thing, you guys, that I don't understand, and maybe somebody that is a Sangoma can explain this to us, okay? When you are a Sangoma and you what you're doing is help people with their lives, help people understand things better in their lives, solve problems and all of that. But when your life as a Sangoma yourself is a mess, I'm like, how are you going to help other people? That's what I don't understand about these Sangomas over here. About Gogos continue talking about, if you and your man want to stay together forever, you must come to me and I will give you Amakata so that your relationship stay together forever. But yeah, she was not able to stay together forever with her own man. That thing doesn't make sense, okay? I suffer from migraines, okay? If I went to the hospital and I'm there by the reception, and then the receptionist is like, you know what, the doctor has taken a short break here because he's suffering from migraines, I'll be like, okay, okay, no, fine, I'll come back, okay? If you cannot solve your own problems, how are you going to solve other people's problems? I don't get it. I don't understand it. So that's what went on, you guys. Listen, like I said, for me, this guy was not the right one to use, but I still cannot say for sure that Latoya is not a fake Sangoma, but maybe they need to do another episode with a different story so that we can understand better. Is she a fake GOBELA or is she not? Okay, it just wasn't the right story to use in this instance. Okay, anyway, guys, the guy did not get his refund, and I don't think that he's going to get his refund because it does not look like Latoya has his refund. Okay, Latoya is like, listen, once you pay the money, we put it down, MSAM and what. And the guy's like, but I did not give the money to you in your hands. I transferred it. He's like, yeah, it's the online. It's the online MSAM. Once you pay it, we hlahlula it in the air. Nizohlezi niskema, guys, because you just don't want to understand that impilo inzima and impilo nama challenges up, and most of the time when you can't solve your problem, there's nobody else that can solve it. Sometimes you just have to pray for yourself and wait for the Lord to heal you. But menihamba nje nifuna usizo everywhere, nizohlezi niskema. Nizohlezi niskema. How do you just see a random Sangoma in town and then, hey, I have so many problems, can you help me? Nizo scam. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me what you thought about this episode in the comment section. Like the video before Pumegona, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Nginithanda.